Stupid back's cramping up.
Yeah, you too, huh? I'm telling you, it's getting old shit. I'm glad I took the comfy chair, and like I say, at least it's not loud down here. I was gonna try it in the studio because I had like, it's got like the little red carpeted wall area in there, and all I could think of was whatever that damn movie is when they talked about the Jeffries and the
Oh
carpeted wall.
yeah.
Oh God, everybody's gonna be like, "Damn, you into Jeffries or what, DJ?" If I did one in the red room, so I came down here, and then I found my custom Slantpiece shirt that I did for a friend of mine. So I was like, "All right, we'll put that up for a background." I thought the Beaver Patrol would have been funny, but
Oh
uh,
yeah.
promote, promoting Slantpiece, it's not that kind of video.
Well, and like I know, well, I ended up having back surgery back in last February, so every now and then it still kind of cramps up and does its own thing where downfalls of self-destructive behaviors, way too many wild nights, and one too many probably mosh pits, and too much heavy lifting.
Headbanging, a brute. It's brutal on the body, man.
But you get into some of those pits where it's like, you can sit there and be like, I went to a Slipknot after, like, I saw a Slipknot, I think it was '04, like right after they put out Iowa when they were on Ozfest. And I was like, I can go to the pit. I'm still young. And I ran in. I didn't even hold a fucking candle to any of those guys. I got the shit kicked out of me. I got out of there and I'm like, the girlfriend at the time's like, you're all right. I'm like, that was stupid. Never again. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, I miss the fun of being up front at shows, but I don't miss like, especially if you're a little bit claustrophobic. Like, I know, okay, when I first saw Ozzy, my first real concert was Ozzy, Corn, and the Deftones, and it was pretty badass. It was up in Omaha, and we were about halfway up, and I'm like, "Hey, Cy, we need to be scooting up there," you know? He's like, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna be up there real soon." I'm like, "Yeah, we're a long ways away." He's like, "Trust me, we're gonna be up there in a minute." I'm like, all right, so sure enough, Ozzy come out, the fucking curtain dropped, and whoosh, the whole fucking crowd just surged, dude. And you just go wherever the crowd's going. You don't have any control. You're just like, okay, well, we're going this way now. And I remember getting knocked down, and somebody kind of pulled me back up, thankfully. But so about halfway through, you start realizing, okay, I need to get out of here. I can't, I'm getting squished. My ribs are crushed. I can't breathe. Then you turn around and see how far you got to work your way through, and you're like, oh shit, this is real. But it was totally worth it. That was like just one of my fucking coolest moments was seeing, and even just the Deftones. I hadn't heard of the Deftones. They come out first, and I knew it was going to be loud, but I wasn't quite ready for like how loud it was and how awesome. And after that one, I was just hooked, dude. We went and seen White Zombie and Filter a few weeks later, and I went to pretty much every show I could get my hands on at that point. I was just like fucking hooked on live music, dude.
Oh yeah, that's one of the well, that's why I like recording. Like if I can catch a band like two or three times in different places, that's why I still record. Doesn't matter how many times I see a band, I'll still snag a couple songs because okay, say they were in Kearney on Friday and they were kind of having an off night. The show was like their show wasn't the best, but then you catch them 2 weeks later in Lincoln and they just demolished the place. And it's like, okay, I got that one. And you see them a couple weeks later, and they put on a better show than the time before. And you're like, it gives people different venues and different locations, and because I mean, there's a like I just saw that Carney's got a new venue like retrograde.
Yeah, saw that pop up on Facebook. That'll be pretty cool. That was all ages, man.
Well, that's something like everybody was kind of talking. Like there was a couple people on there that are like, "Oh, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen." Shut up. There's always going to be those couple kids that are always going to try to sneak booze in. We all know that. Half of us all got old and don't do that shit anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about. I plead the fifth. What's the statute of limitations? Especially like when we played with Carpy, like there's times when he wasn't even 21 yet, but they would be like, "Yeah, all right, you're with the band, cool." It's like, okay, I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't see that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's.
it goes well for him, man, because it's nice to have an all ages venue, because that is frustrating not really have anywhere. And I know people were already commenting on there, well, what drinks are you going to have? And, freaking out like, oh gosh, there's not going to be any beer. But believe it or not, you can go out and have fun without booze. Some people prefer it that way. Some people don't. So if you don't like it, I guess you don't have to go, but don't knock on them just because they're doing something cool for all ages, was my opinion.
Well, I mean, like, okay, how where else is say my 16-year-old boy gonna catch Slantpiece at?
Yeah, exactly. There's some,
Or
wait forever, you know.
it's okay, so that's 5 years till he's 21. Mm, but all age venues, like you're gonna get parents that are like, man, I wanted to bring my kid. He's been egging for a show. He's been asking me when he can get into one. And hey, we got this killer lineup with bands one, two, three, four, and five that are just right up his alley of music. So for 10 or 15 bucks, I can go take him to this show and I can have that cool moment with my kid being like, all right, you're over there doing your thing. I'm over here doing my thing. And I still got to try to pay attention to where you're at because I have to be a responsible parent sometimes. Like, all right, fuck, I lost him. And nope, found him.
And those can be so inspirational to the youngins, for them to get to be and experience something like that. You might plant a seed where that kid's like, oh my God, I remember when my first show was blah, blah. And it just, because that's how we all were. There was that moment that just kind of blew us away. And we were like, whoa, that's it, man. That's like, it's like that goddamn foreigner song or whatever that my brother Josh hates, the jukebox hero, you're hearing, you're just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So it's fun to be on the other side of that because I was that, dude just sitting out in the crowd, like, God, it'd be so fun to be up there doing that shit, and then you get with some guys and you end up actually on the stage, doing shit. And it's so yeah, I definitely feel a duty to help, whoever I could inspire, pass that shit on, because that's the laws of how it works. You got to keep that shit alive, and that's kind of between my rock and old school radio show and the band. That's what I like to do. I like to get on the radio show and maybe, hey, you've heard, everybody's heard Poison, everybody's heard Motley Crue, but have you heard Accept, Princess of the Dawn? Have you heard Call of the Wild by Circus of Power? That's the real good shit. And that's what I like sharing with people is, some of the off the beaten path stuff.
Well, yeah, it's well, and plus everybody can always remember, like, okay, you got your first big name concert that you went to, and then everybody remembers their first local show. I mean, even though it was long ass time ago, like mine was Grin from Hayes, Kansas, and Gulch from Wichita, Kansas, and I ended up doing a show years later with Gulch and made a comment. I was like, "Hey, you guys played at the first local show I ever went to," and they thought that was cool that I was in a band now and doing it. And but at the flip side, they're like, "Fuck, that was how old are you?" Oh, I'm like 23. Fuck, that was like 7 years ago. Shit, we're the old guys now. And then like some of the members from Corinne ended up forming this band called Kindred, and I'd been trying to see them because I couldn't find anything on Facebook, YouTube, any social medias about them, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record this band because they need it. Like it was one of those like this is my mission to do. So I ended up finding they were playing the night before the Spooky Hills Fest, and I ended up driving down there after I think I did like 61 or 65 hours that week. Hopped in the car, drove down there, recorded like 4 songs, their full set, took pictures, and I used to work at this record store called the House of Sight and Sound. Well, when they closed, they gave me the Grin promo shot. It said to the House of Sight and Sound. It had all the autographs. So I grabbed that and took it down to them. Well, one of their members passed away from a sudden heart attack I didn't know about. And so I kind of was like, hey, here you guys go. And they're like, dude, this is so cool. It's from the House Sight and Sound. And, they're like, we're going to give this to his daughter. They thought it was really cool that they're like, well, don't you want it? Nah, man, I got one that's got way more meaning. It's personalized to me and it's got your guys' autograph. Like that's my memory. This one I don't it's cool that it was hanging up on the wall for so many years, but if you guys have a different home for it that'd be better, then by all means. So it's one of those things where just kind of giving back to them. And I thought it was cool and they all appreciated it and they thought it was really awesome. So
Hell yeah. Yeah, you're back kind of saying the same thing I am. Like, well, we must be about running out of time here. 'Cause,
I gotta get up and walk
uh,
around and move. It's going, you
yeah,
got old.
So yeah, do you have any other questions or topics for me I could cover to help get out there for your brother?
Well, I mean, like the one thing that I've noticed is kind of fun about the interview. Like, as you can obviously tell, this isn't your typical, we're just, it's like an interview, but we're also just storytelling and shooting shit and having fun.
Shoot the shit. That's what I was gonna say, man. Hell yeah.
But I know, like, when I come up there and see you guys at the Metal Corn Fest or
Hard corn, I think, or no,
hard,
what?
yeah, Hard Corn Fest or
There you go.
Hardcore Metal Fest. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We're eventually it's something in Kearney at the end of February,
It's
at the
whenever.
other side.
Yeah, just be there.
But like doing some quick band interviews where it's like the 5 minute, where it's more solely based on the band, maybe.
Quick jabber, shoot the shit. But yeah, these are cool because, like I say, it's just a conversation. It's just, hey, that's what we talked about. We didn't have a plan. We didn't sit down. Hey, these are the questions I'm going to ask you. And I will have to say that it's weird being on this side because normally I'm the interviewer. I do a lot of interviews in my job. I mean, we have Town Talk, where I sit down and welcome to Town Talk. So yeah, I should be like, so Redbeard, tell me a little bit about your background. Like it's so. Thanks for letting me be on here, brother. It's been fun.
Hey, no problem. Yeah, and we'll get this posted hopefully this week. I mean, I've got so many different ideas, and like I've kind of realized, maybe doing like the podcast thing where I take the audio and just put it on Spotify where it's different conversations with band people that's different. And like that's the problem with the social media. Like I had that post earlier where, you do a lot of trial and error and okay, does this work? How does this work? And just kind of bouncing different things off. And it's like, okay, I'll try this and see if this works. But like I know with Spotify it'd have to be interviews because I don't want to take away from the bands on anything they can get from their streaming because most of the bands are gracious enough to let me post stuff on Facebook and like on YouTube and everything, and nobody's had any complaints. I mean, I'll share it and try to get the word out about these other bands of, hey, if you're coming up to this area, hit these bands up, or if you're looking at going down to this area, here's some bands you can check out. Hey, here's some venues you can go talk to and try to get, and just trying to do something different that most people aren't.
Yeah, no, I think it's great what you're doing, man. I mean, from our first reaction video, that's how I first kind of ran across you. I was like, hey, man, you're doing reaction videos. You want to check us out? To watch how you've just kind of exploded since then has been really cool. I hope everybody's helping you out as much as you're helping us out because I hope the views are starting to come. Because I know how that's got to be a chore trying to compete with the whole YouTube. I don't know anything about YouTube's algorithms or anything like that.
Well,
So just
I get random messages like, "Hey, we can help get you this many subscribers, or you can buy this many views," and it's like, "Fuck you." I'm what you want. If you want to help me out, come and fucking edit some of this stuff so I can get it out. Fucking post it. Go through the photos. Like, you know, I do this as a hobby, and if at some point in time I can generate something, it's not one of those things like some of them have said, you want to be famous. It's like I was kind of that back in Kansas when I was in a band, and it was fine to a point, but when you'd walk into Walmart and like everyone sees you and they're stopping to talk to you and you got your kids and you can't like go get the grocery shopping you're done. It's like I don't want to be that famous. I like showing up to shows and bands are like, "Hey, it's that guy." Like that's the type of fame that's where I can recognize band members and they're recognizing me and we're all having a good time and that's the way that I'd rather have it. I don't want to be like, Mr. Beast where I highly doubt he can go anywhere like Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan or Mike Tyson. I just hit like the triple mic right there.
that's a lot of mics. Mic drop.
But like where you can't go anywhere and do anything where it's like, okay, he's at the zoo. What kind of crazy things he gonna do? Or it's like, man, I'm here with my
Follow
kids.
that would really get annoying. Like He's taking a dump. Like, "Oh, come on, man, let me take a dump in peace, you know."
Can we get an
But I
autograph?
suppose I've been for long enough that just to find out what it would be like to be annoyed like that, I'm not gonna lie, would be cool. But no, if you're getting into something mainly for like money, like a lot, whether it's a band or it's you're kind of setting yourself up for mostly disappointment unless you're super talented, But if you get into it because you love it, then you're in a much better place, and that's why I've always been. Music would be great to go out, and sell a million records and tour the world, but it's like that's not my sole reason that I picked up the guitar. I picked it up because I didn't know I could create something musically, and I found out I could, and it was kind of cool. So I wanted to go with it. Like you do something you love, it's going to be 100 times easier just to get what you want out of it. Same thing with radio for me. It would be great, to be have everybody know who you are, but just if I can get out there and make a difference in somebody's life, I'm cool with that. Make somebody's day go better, make somebody smile. That's why I'm into to doing stuff like this. So
Oh yeah. Well, I think like with the radio personalities, I can only think of like three, and that's Larry King, Howard Stern, and Casey Kasem. Like where they're that level that like you'd hear a cartoon and you're like, that's that radio guy. For like Shaggy, where you just knew it was him, but you never had what he looked like, and they were two completely different people. And one of the other cats just decided to say "fuck you" and open the door.
at least you got a cat gang fight going on.
Not yet. We got three of them running around the house. Two
There
are
you go.
like 20-pound cats, and one's this little like 5-pound cat, but sounds like a fucking elephant coming down the stairs.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, yeah, brother. I might have to kind of. Looks like I'm getting some messages and people trying to get a hold of me, so I might have to cut it a little bit short. But we should get together again at that hardcore one and maybe do a quick one with the whole band.
Oh,
But before
definitely.
do a little Slantpiece chat with you and check out some of the other. There's some heavy ass bands coming to that one. I don't remember them all right offhand, but holy shit, that one's gonna be a brutal night in Kearney. It looks like.
Well, I know just from being around long enough, you hear certain names, and it's like, okay, I have an idea of what to expect from this band, or I have an idea to expect from this band, and that one looks like it's going to be there's going to be some sore necks, some sore backs, and bruises and bludgeoning going on in the pits.
Yeah, that one may just on paper may looks like it might be about one of the more brutal ones we played. So better be ready to bring the brutality that night, I suppose.
Oh, the pit's going to be fun trying to take pictures in that. That won't be the
Hell yeah!
first time.
And for all you do, brother, thanks for hooking Slantpiece up with press. Just all the different things you do for the scene, man. Thank you. And we'll definitely make sure you stop in Friday night. Come check it out, Brother Vic. We're going to be on there talking about all things. And I don't know when this will post, but this Friday. But I'm on every Friday night. So whatever night you see this, guys, come hang out with me, rocking at Old School Radio on 107 Rock. We got shit going all the time there. It's badass. Come hang out with us, man.
Definitely. Well, you have a good evening, and it was great talking to you, and we'll definitely catch up with you real soon.
Right on. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Brother Red. I don't know where all the things are going to be on the
God,
screen.
it's
Like and
some.
subscribe to Brother Redbeard the hippie. Help keep us underground independent dudes rolling, man.
I appreciate that.